all this evidence. He goes into the various things in these descriptions, but what interests us at the moment, and I shouldn't pay too much attention to the blurb or to commentary, but what is interesting is this being of light which he describes in these words. What is perhaps the most incredible common element in the accounts I have studied, and is certainly the element which has the most profound effect upon the individual, is the encounter with a very bright light. Typically, at its first appearance, the light is distant and dim, but it rapidly gets brighter until, as death deepens, it reaches an unearthly brilliance. Yet even though this light is of this indescribable brilliance, many make the specific point that it does not in any way dazzle them or keep them from seeing things around them, perhaps because at this point they don't have physical eyes to be dazzled. Despite the light's intense brilliance, not one person has expressed any doubt whatever that it was a being of light, and a strangely personal being. The love and the warmth which emanate from this being to the dying person are utterly beyond words, and he feels completely surrounded by it and taken up in it, completely at ease and accepted in the presence of this being. He senses an irresistible magnetic attraction to this light. Now, though the description of this light is invariable, yet the identification of what this being is varies from one person to another. To a Christian, they may feel it's Christ. To a Jew, it's an angel. Even to some Christians, it's a messenger and not our Lord himself. The identification varies from person to person, but it's always a description of a warmth and a light. And this is how the Shankaracharya describes the Atman. The Atman for the individual and Paramatman, which is your own self that lives in the hearts of all. Well, you read this, it's very convincing if you read the actual first-hand experiences. And in reading too, I've put some more that we've come across ourselves, because one's been interested in one's own experiences of this sort for a long time and compared notes with other people. It's noteworthy, though, that we may come very near death at an operation or a car accident or something, but if the thought of death doesn't occur to us, we don't get any of these experiences. A doctor in Canada, a meditator whom I've just been writing to, an old friend, had a fortnight of constant cardiac arrests, and the whole medical staff had to take it in turns to sit with him and resuscitate him. But as he never thought for a moment he was going to die, he didn't get any of these experiences. He read this book and he felt rather disappointed. So don't feel disappointed, but just realize there's a treat in store and nothing to be afraid of, because these are quite ordinary people who know nothing at all. The only question is what we as meditators can do between now and the unexpected time, unpredictable time when we make this final journey, so that we stop everything coming in the way between us and this light. Any questions about all this? Do you feel that if you concentrate on the main thing, that it's not superstitious or dotty or anything, and that it does correspond with the steps, small steps we take after meditation or by other means? Anybody brave enough to say anything?
Is it not possible to experience this sort of thing before one reaches final experience like death?
That's the whole idea, yes. And I think we probably all have, but we've forgotten and find no way to describe it. Don't you think that you have, from time to time, gone quite far along that route?
Yes, I feel that I've had this experience while you were actually reading the text about life.
Mr. Quinn says, Mr. Tarikian says that he feels he actually had this experience while you were reading this text.
Well, I hope, that's why I read it. I hope quite a lot of people would. He's got certain advantages over us. I don't know if your dog did anything.
Is it possible that one might experience something like this the moment before one goes to sleep?
Yes, something like that. And I feel myself very much the first moment one wakes up, before the other hemisphere gets going. And the way to go on experiencing it is not to think and talk about it. It's precious. And you mustn't let this dominant hemisphere get hold of it. And so if we could only lead our lives remembering the Paramatma and doing what we have to do with full attention, appropriate attention, we'd have many more of these experiences. It's all these layers of thought and analysis and conversation that prevent us.
Do you feel that dreams are a part of this process?
Dreams belong to the intermediate level. You see, the physical level is one thing. The dying person leaves his physical body behind. That's finished with. He's apart from it. He's free of it. But between him and the light, the causal and the divine level, comes the subtle level of dreams and psychology and thoughts and all the rest of it. And it's this subtle level that we have to purify and train. We mustn't trust the dreams. We must get beyond them to the silence. You know that in meditation.
In the piece of the causal level which you read about, this relationship must be present all the time.
Yes. And there's another thing in this conversation. What results from that? Because it's,
there are three prominent features.
yes, about the people who provide themselves with this spiritual rest on the causal level, there are three prominent features. One we've mentioned, their movements, but the other?
They show love and affection towards everything they encounter. All activities will be initiated with love. and then held and nourished with love till they come to their fulfillment. All relationships with individuals or activities, direct or indirect, will be lighted and guided only by love and affection. Secondly, their ideas, intentions or motives will be pure and simple. Purity and simplicity widen the horizon, and they think and work for the whole of humanity and only through the laws of the absolute. The divisions of groups, races or nations disappear, and only natural laws are employed. Their thoughts naturally encompass the whole of the human family and its intrinsic goodness.
And that's the sort of feeling one gets as one comes into the Shankaracharya's room and in all one's dealings with him. It's also a feeling one had at times with Mr. Ufensky. He got them rather too fitfully for his satisfaction. But in the last week of his life, he passed that threshold and he had it almost continuously. So, it's now. However young we are, and however much we have the feeling it won't happen to me, it couldn't happen to me, we ought to begin to remember the Paramatman all the time. This being of light only wants recognition, appreciation, love, and an attempt for the individual to be like him. It's on every page of the Gospels, of course, where this union is described as a wedding. It can't be taken just physically. It refers to the union of the individual with the Father in heaven at death. And the message, of course, is, be you therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. And that's the same message of the Shankaracharya and of all those who've had this stillness on the causal level. And it's not far away. It's right within our reach. It's only because we just don't believe it, do we? We've been so trained and brought up, taught that we are sinful beings and cut off from God since Adam and Eve in the garden. We just don't believe any of this.
I think it's Mr. Moody speaking. He says that he does recognize this because he had exactly the same experience when he was a child of about 10. 7.
Yes. And if we could only get the stillness, we would remember many more such episodes in childhood than we remember now. And in fact, several parents have written into me that they've overheard their children at about that age talking together in a way which makes continued existence obviously taken for granted by them. Only they had to keep it dark from the grown-ups.
So Leader said he didn't tell anybody till he was about 50.
Very good, very wise. Yes. Well, life is is really much better than it looks on the surface. So let's cheer up and keep good company, be in the company as far as possible of self-realizing people, and try to get into the way of dedicating your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, even the smallest action, to this impersonal, to this divine agency, which is your self. It's now about 1:15. Are there any last questions? Remember that in our system there's an aphorism. Prepare to die tomorrow, but look after your body as if it had to live 100 years. So if you were just going to die next minute, what question would you ask?
You mentioned this man, this friend of yours in Canada, who was a medical man who'd had suffered these many cardiac
Yes.
arrests, but had not experienced anything.
No, and I said he hadn't experienced the glories of the being of light. He did experience something.
Well, the question really went on, does this mean that only those who are on the way have these experiences?
No. All these 150 people were quite ordinary people, not on the way at all, anywhere. The question is whether the big knobs who are on the way, whether more will be required of them than just that. But we're assured by the Shankaracharya that it's going to be all right. They're rather like this. Maybe I was trying to find that Vietnam one. Yes, when I was serving in Vietnam, a young man said, I received wounds, and I later died from them. Yet through it all, I knew exactly what was going on. I was hit with 6 rounds of machine gun fire, and as it happened, I wasn't upset at all. In my mind, I actually felt relieved when I was pronounced dead. I felt completely at ease, and it wasn't frightening at all. At the moment of impact, my life began to become a picture in front of me. And it seemed that I could go back to the time when I was still a baby, and the pictures seemed to progress through my whole life. I could remember everything. Everything was so vivid. It was so clear in front of me. It shot right by me from the earliest things right up to the present. And it all happened in such a short time. It was not anything bad at all. I went through it with no regrets. No derogatory feelings about myself at all. The best way I can compare it is to a series of pictures like slides. It was like someone clicking off slides in front of me. Now, he's dressed as this memory, you see, and when asked in New York, What is it that becomes immortal? Only memory can be trained for immortality. We are immortal already. Body is born again, essence is born again, personality is created again. So it's not a question of immortality, but cultivation of memory, long-term memory. We may live 10,000 times without any advantage if we do not remember. And remember means remember yourself, this being of light. Well, I've already used far too many words, but it should be entirely a message of hope and confidence.
Mrs. Fenning said, could we have another few minutes meditation?
What does everybody feel? How about the physical body? All right, it's 20 past.
Well, your watch
Do you
is a
have
little
5
fast.
minutes? All
Yeah,
right.
your watch is a little fast.
Oh. Well, I hope that by 8th of November we'll have more to communicate with each other when we meet again. Don't forget that I would ask you not to read reading 2, to keep it up your sleeve until you've had time to assimilate this new dimension.